Doing a little upgrade on Alice today. Gonna be changing the rear end gear ratio from a 511 to a 4.44. So we should be able to go a little bit faster in Alice. All this thanks to the famous Ricky Irvin. He's the man. Thanks again, Ricky. So I'm gonna take you underneath the bus here and show you what I'm working on. Taking apart the drive shaft here to start. Oh, I'm gonna have to flip the camera. All right, getting under the bus here for the drive shaft. I've put some tape around my caps so I don't have to mess with the pin bearings. They don't fall off. But it's been removed from up here. It's 4 bolts going into those holes there, you see. And then these are what they look like. Pull them, they're 3/8 bolts. And pull your drive shaft. Set that down. It's just setting in this holder so it's out of the way, and I'll come back for the next portion. So the next portion, we're going to be removing these 24mm bolts, or nuts, excuse me, and then I'll be sliding this whole axle out on both sides using a little catcher to catch some of that gear oil that's going to come out. And basically we're removing the axle from the differential pumpkin back in there. And there's the bolts removed, and the gear oil is dripping out into the pan. A little overflow just in case. Should be all right though. On to the other side. Next step in the process is to remove the bolt all the way around the front of this chunk here, and the fluid will drain out when you get to the bottom there. I've got just about 2 gallons out of it now. It's slowing down a little bit. We'll move over to these lower ones, see how much we get. All right, so we got the bolts out, the old chunk out. That's what it looks like, empty. And we're prepping the new one, or the replacement, and cleaning it up. All right, this is the new chunk. Down here on the drive shaft end, see that 9x40? If you divide those together, then you get your ratio of what this chunk gives you for output. So this is a 4.44 going in, and this was a 5.11 coming out. Out with the old, in with the new. Well, I now got the replacement chunk, the 444, up and on the jack, and blocked in place. And that was probably the toughest part of this whole job so far. Getting that fucking chunk up there. Excuse my language. Now, once you've wrestled that chunk back up in there, get all those bolts in, tightened up with about a 1/2 inch of space all the way around, and then you pry that chunk back out, and then we're going to use a gasket maker. I'm going to put that in all the way around. You don't need a whole bunch of it. It seals up pretty good. And then we'll tighten up those bolts all nice and even. Now we got them all tightened up. You can see the silicone. There we go, focus. Silicone squished out all the way around. You know, we got a nice good seal. And now we'll hook up the drive shaft here and fill her with oil. Get a nice little bit of that gasket all the way around. I go on the inside of the bolts, as you can see down here, so that I get a nice seal all the way around. And I'll tighten those back up evenly also. And we got the drive shaft all hooked back up. It's in there. Reattached on the other end. And should be good for some gear oil. Time to fill her up. And that's your filler plug on the back side of the pumpkin. I'm gonna use this funnel, tie it up, Probably over this way. Then slowly but surely get that gear oil in there. So I filled it back up with about 3¼ gallons of gear oil, and took it for a 300-mile test drive. And I stopped at about 25 miles, about 75 miles, and again at 150 miles. Checked for any leaks, and everything was good. And yeah, hope this was helpful for everybody, and like and subscribe. Thanks.